Chapter 10. Road to Success in Life. Note, at the age of 34 years now, I chose to mainly focus on my personal opinion to business, because I am a businessman, and business is what I do and know. I am a qualified lawyer too, though realistically I am more of a businessman than a lawyer. I took gradual business steps to where I stand today. I first traded in commodities and merchandise on a small retail scale. Later progressed to wholesale, moved to real estate and construction with a chain of properties both in Uganda and abroad. And finally to industrialization, mainly in agro-processing and value addition. I directly employ more than 1,200 people, so I make my opinions from a reasonable and realistic point of view, basing on my own personal experience. Life. Success or failure is to the living. We all live and desire to succeed in our lives as human beings. So the very first element or component of success is being alive and life itself. One has to be naturally sound and of full age, competent understanding, and of sound mind. I will divide success into two grades, primary and secondary success. I will limit primary success to success of having grown up to be a man or woman, having passed through school, having gotten married, and all other social basic achievements, which almost everyone has accomplished. My entire focus and opinion is on secondary success, on a presumption that one is fully grown, finished school or didn't go to school, but ready for the world, and to make it big in life. At that very point when a person leaves their parents' home or care and wanders into the world to start their own life. My entire focus and opinion is on secondary success, on a presumption that one is fully grown, finished school or didn't go to school, but ready for the world and to make it big in life. At that very point when a person leaves their parents' home or care and wanders into the world to start their own life. Success is defined by one's desire to improve their economic welfare or money, the desire to be rich or wealthy. The main question is, how can someone start from nothing to acquiring everything in life? Starting point. Life is a constant factor, so the very starting point is you. Before one earns anything in life, all one has is himself or herself, and if one desires to be successful, he or she must first acknowledge the fact that he or she has themselves. It all starts with you. Your presence in being alive is the very starting point to success. All the rest, like the desire, simply follow. Your presence among the living is not enough. You must be of full age, competent understanding, and of sound mind. That's with a normal, functioning mind. One has to address their mind to themselves first. You draw all the focus using your reasoning ability to identify yourself from a realistic point of view. A person has to identify their personal weakness and strength before drawing projections on what they really want to achieve. If you have a disability, how best can you use it to your advantage? One has to draw a plan or projections based on what he or she has and identify weak spots in life where their personality stands an advantage. One works with what he or she has to offer. One's nature of character, weak or strong, is the main determinant factor of what one does, not his or her desire based on emotions. One should make a choice of the business or job to do based on his or her abilities to stand a better chance of succeeding in life. Educated and uneducated people may not start at the same level, because in the world today, An education qualification is capital. So an educated person stands a higher chance to finding a job which will pay them a reasonable salary that can later be converted into business capital. The uneducated, on the other hand, can only offer physical manpower as capital. They can do odd physical jobs which, in most cases, require more energy input but pay less, though accumulated income from odd jobs can also be converted into business capital. Both an educated and uneducated person can raise the same amount of business capital once they both reasonably focus their mind to it. The only difference will be that most likely the educated person has a chance to raise it faster, within a limited time frame, and with less effort. A person should take time to identify their weaknesses and strengths. The faster you do that, the better. You are who you are. One has to address his or her mind to that and find the best way to use that to their advantage in life. A person can live a full life and die without ever really knowing who they really were, because they spend all their lives focusing on others and never gives themselves a chance to explore and exploit their ability. That is the very starting point before even a person aims for success. Once it comes to capital in form of money, the amount of money you have is the determinant factor of what kind of business you can invest in, not the kind of business you desire to do. If you have 1 million as capital, then you are only capable of doing a business that requires that amount of capital. If you invest that money in a business that requires more than that amount, then trust me, such business will demand for more money to succeed. And if you are unable to invest more money, then your initial capital investment will automatically become a loss. Note, self-identification of one's abilities, weaknesses, or strengths applies in all aspects of life or opportunity based on a personal, realistic assessment of oneself. Otherwise, one can do the wrong thing all his life. This applies to all spheres of life, or failures to do so can deny one a chance to take the very first step towards success in their life. Full age. Full age means old enough and not so young that you are still in school. Old in the true secondary definition of old. Old enough to desire to be successful in life. Competent understanding. The natural reasoning ability of the mind, competent enough to identify, differentiate, analyze, and access all matters before you. Competent enough to desire to succeed in life. The main component being the ability to reason in all aspects of life. Everyone is created with the brain, but very few people apply reason when they are faced with a challenge. The decision to desire success is the starting point. Sound mind. Meaning not mad. A person of sound mind is one that can understand what they are doing and the repercussions of their actions. Sound mind means being sane. One needs to be sane to aim for success. Good health. After attaining full age, being competent understanding, and of sound mind, then you must also ensure you are in good health and energetic. One needs to be sound health-wise and energetic enough to chase their desire for success. Sickness can limit one's ability to attain success in life and other natural health-related limiting factors like being disabled. Note, one must have the desire to be successful. It should be a deep-hearted desire to succeed. One must fall in love and become passionate about the desire to succeed. Believe. It is my personal opinion, based on reason, That belief is a key factor in whatever we do in life as human beings. The very starting point being the belief in existence of humanity and the earth we live on. Nothing comes into existence on its own. You can't believe in humanity and existence of the earth without believing in God, or Allah. I am a very strong Muslim believer in God, and my belief is purely based on reason. People look for miracles to believe in God, but the most undisputable thing God ever created was man and the human mind. I totally believe in God's blessing as a constant factor in all we do. One can never achieve anything unless one believes they will achieve it in the first place. One has to believe in the fact that they can be successful if they aim for it. Because why in the first place should you aim for success if you believe you cannot achieve it? This is one of the key factors and the most important component of success. Failures are mainly weak believers. Capital. I would personally define capital as an amount of money you invest in a business to earn profits on returns. One starts with having a business plan, projections, and strategy on the business to do, how much capital it requires, and how to acquire that capital. A business should be realistic and reasonable from one's prevailing circumstances and conditions, not based on fiction and personal desire. Capital is a key element on one's way to success in life. We always give something for something in success. When we accumulate assets and valuables, then we are referred to as a successful people. Capital is what we give to receive more. We invest something small and gain more profit in return. In monetary terms, capital is that small amount of money we invest in a business that incurs profit. A continuous, systematic routine of profit is what transforms one from poor to rich. However, before we move to monetary capital, the very starting capital is yourself. Being of full age, competent, understanding, and of sound mind, and being in good health and energetic. Please note, money is not the initial requirement for one to start on his road to success. When one has the three aspects mentioned above, the question remains, how does one use them as capital? Alternative 1. A young, energetic, healthy person, if educated, can look for a formal job to get paid for a reasonable specific period of time to accumulate enough monetary capital to start their private business or investment venture. Alternative 2. If not educated, you have to first draw a business plan and make projections, and then give yourself a time frame of implementation. If in your business plan, your capital requirement to start a low-income business is $500,000 to $1 million, though young and energetic, you have no money on you, and no one can possibly give you this amount of money, not even banks, because you have no security. Then you can do informal, odd physical jobs that require manpower, like being a porter or helper at a site and the like. These jobs are usually the lowest in the labor chain, and no one wants to do them, but they always pay and can be a source of raising money for capital. For instance, I will give you an example from where I operate business. That is, downtown Kampala. Businessmen load and offload containers every day in this busy part of town. For each carton loaded or offloaded, one is paid $1,000. Though loading or offloading requires someone young and energetic. People don't want to be seen doing such odd jobs, regardless of whether they are poor or not. Yet it can be a very good source of capital to start a small business. Step A. If you apply your manpower, it would take you a very short period of time to raise such money by loading and offloading cartons. In fact, it would require you loading just 500 to 1,000 cartons for you to raise 500,000 to 1 million. Despite one's poor status and desire to raise capital, most Ugandans are too proud to engage in such odd jobs. They would rather live on an empty stomach for a full day than be seen doing such odd jobs. The current nature of your status is the very determinate factor of what job you can do or can't do, not pride. You can't want to be treated and paid like a professor, yet you barely completed your primary education. Submission to the realistic prevailing circumstances and conditions before us helps us to make reasonable choices in our lives. With capital, we offer what we have, not what we don't have. If you have managed to raise capital of 500,000 from an odd job, failures will look at you as the lowest of the low. Yet, majority of them cannot even raise that much for themselves. You progress as they are laughing and making fun of you, but one has to stay focused on their plan. Step B. Then, you should invest the 500,000 in starting that small business you desire as planned. At this point, you have progressed from an odd job that requires too much of your personal physical energy and manpower to a small business owner, which may be frying chapatis. The difference is, this time you are your own boss who fully owns your business from your own personal effort and sweat. Failures, on the other hand, are always around criticizing and discouraging those who work hard. They will watch as you start until when you succeed. Even the Holy Quran says, "Man shall feed off his sweat." Step C. Small starting businesses are in most cases small food businesses, like selling fried chapatis, marketing jobs, and the like. They usually have limited money requirement. Their produce usually has high demand, uncharacterized by very small profits, and usually are not worth large volumes of money as their end products are usually fresh and perishable that demand consumption upon production. For example, a chapati business can barely be worth more than $3 million. I strongly advise that at this very point, sell or invest your money in another bigger and better business. When you are aiming for success, you must always move and think progressively and productively. The same process shall repeat itself until when you are finally happy with your success, and you can sufficiently provide for yourself and those close to you, like family. Those who were laughing at you right from the start can confidently, proudly call you a rich man. If one really desires to become successful from running a business, one should really be patient with the slow, gradual processes businesses take to finally produce successful results. It is always better to start small with small businesses. That way, when one passes through the gradual process, which to an extent is an equivalent of an informal business educational course, as experience is always the best teacher.